In this section, we're talking about excise tax. This is on the section that also deals with sales tax. An excise tax is different from a sales tax in a few ways. It doesn't apply to all goods, and it's paid. It is not paid at the time of the sale, but by the producer. The excise tax is also calculated on the sale price, just like the sales tax is. So when a company figures its excise tax, it has to figure that as part of its setting its selling price. Here are the different kinds of excise taxes that apply. If you notice, the first column lists the Wisconsin tax rate, and the second column lists the federal tax rate. There's excise taxes on liquor, beer, and cigarettes. Those would be considered sin taxes to try to keep people from doing those things. Gas taxes, tire taxes, both help supply money for roads. Guns, fishing equipment, those supply money for the DNR. Telephones supply money for putting in landlines, which doesn't actually make any sense anymore. And then there's an airlines excise tax that deals with paying for airports. Let's look at some of the questions that we have for this unit. First one. It says you buy 21.2 gallons of gasoline. The federal excise tax is 18.4 cents per gallon, and 32.9 cents per gallon is the state excise tax. There is no sales tax on gasoline, so all we need to do is to calculate the amount of tax that you owe. So when we set up our proportion, the merchandise, of course, goes on the bottom. The tax is what we're looking for in this case. So merchandise is always 100%, and we have, let's see, 1 gallon worth of gas, or $1 worth of gas, I should say. And then the tax is 0.184 plus 0.329. Okay, so let's look at this first one. We're going to calculate the amount of tax for these for this situation. We're going to take 21.2 gallons times 0.184 plus 0.329, because those two are the excise taxes, and we just want to know the amount of tax. So on our calculator, we're going to, where'd our calculator go? On our calculator, we're going to just multiply 21.2 times 0.184 plus 0.329. Oops. And we get, I put in one too many parentheses. $10.88. All right. The only difference between the first question and the third question here is that it says you buy 11.8 gallons and you want to know the total amount you pay. Since you want to know the total amount you pay, you would multiply the 11.8 gallons times not just the tax, but the price of the gas, plus the tax for federal, plus the tax for state, and just enter that on your calculator. So 11.8 times parentheses 3.01 plus 0.184 plus 0.199, and you would get $40.04. Next one. Cigarette tax. it says here you buy 10 packs of cigarettes at $5.85 each. The federal tax is $1. What is the amount of tax you pay? So you're going to take 10, the number of packs, times 1.01 plus 2.52. So we get out our calculator again. 10 parentheses 1.01 plus 2.52. Oops. He gets his calculator up. 2.52, close parentheses, and you get $35.30. If they wanted to know the total, let's say instead of tax, it said what is the total amount due, you would take 10 times, times 5.85, that's the price of a pack of cigarettes, plus the $1 federal, plus the $2.52 state. So now when you enter that on your calculator, 10 parentheses 5.85 plus 1.01 plus 2.52, and you get 93. You can't list it as 93.8. That doesn't make any sense. You have to add the zero because we always list the number of cents. We always make it per 100. Okay, next one. All right. She rented a room while on vacation. Calculate the total that appeared on her charge card. Well, she had 3 nights at $133.71 plus $20 per night energy surcharge. So we're going to, that will be our amount of merchandise that we would have. That's on the dollar side. Then we've got on the percent side, we would have, since we want to know the total, right, calculate the total, we're going to have 100% plus 4.78% plus 1.9% plus 5%. So now when we cross multiply and divide, we're going to have 3 times 133.71 plus 20. Going to multiply that by this, 100 plus 4.78 plus 1.9 plus 5, and divide that by 100. Okay, so let's get out our calculator. 3 parentheses, 133.71. That's the price of the room, plus the $20 energy surcharge. So that's how much we're going to spend each night. We're going to cross multiply that by since we want the total, we have to have the 100% plus the city tax, 4.78, plus the convention tax, 1.9, plus the state sales tax, 5. And now we're going to divide that by 100 to cross multiply and divide, and we get $515 and $14.99. $514.99. I'm going to make sure that's what my calculator said. $514.99. Next one. All right, Murdoch Fishing Supplies bought $3,944.55 worth of fishing rods, but they have to pay a 10% federal excise tax. So when they figure, oh, that didn't work out so good. Let's start that over again. There we go. So when they figured the amount of excise tax, it's based on the total sale. But the one that we know is we know the amount that the merchandise is, which is $39.44.55. The sale is 100%. The merchandise is only 90% because the other 10% is federal excise tax. We don't care how much the federal excise tax is. We want to know how much the amount that we pay is. Cross multiply and divide. And on our calculator, we would press 39.44.55 times 100, divided by 90, and we get $4,382.83. 4,382.83. Next one. Last year, ABC Trucking purchased $196,000 in tractor chassis. There's a federal excise tax of 12% on those purchases. So what was the federal excise tax? Okay, so we've got the total is the total amount is $196,000, but there's a 12% excise tax. So since we want to know the amount of excise tax, we'll multiply by 12. So 196 times 12 divided by 100, and we get the amount of excise tax is $23,520. If you have any questions, give me a call. Okay. Let's look at this one. It's about airplane flights. The ticket costs $246.05 round trip. Let's calculate the federal excise tax first of all. So $246.05 is the merchandise on 100%. 7.5. Let's figure out how much the tax would be. So you need to take $246.05 times 7.5 divided by 100 is 1845. So that's the ticket plus the tax, and then $5 domestic segment tax for each flight segment. Since there are 2 flight segments, because it's a non-stop round trip, so it's going to be 2 times $5, which is $10. That's the segment charge. And then $35 fuel charge. That's just for the whole flight. And then $30 per piece of luggage each way. So it's $30 times 2 pieces of luggage times there and back is $120. So the total that he's going to pay is $246.05 plus 18.45 tax plus $10 segment charge plus $35 cash or fuel surcharge plus $120 for his luggage is $429.50.